internet! I lost my voice in that moment. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I just had some coffee, and apparently the heat plus my vocal cords made a sound heard by bats nationwide.
That was the saddest opening to a podcast ever. The epicness of the music
completely negated.
Cultivating in just sounding like one of the Bradys when they were going through puberty.
That's me. Guys, that, if anything, to summarize my last week, it's that. It's the weakness and the tiredness of everything. Before we get into it, if you're new here, I'm sorry for that entrance. I am Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people, judged as ever by the great producer Jake, who actually has a voice. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Listen. Another week of KoiCast burying our heads in the sand. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, we're just gonna own that. We're gonna be here with it. This is a pop culture podcast. We're gonna stay more pop than culture, and we're also very aware of like we said last week. But in our own lives, I will say that it has been quite the week, and I am levels of exhausted I didn't know were physically possible, and my body's reminding me of that every couple minutes. Yeah, hence the voice.
It's been a very eventful month. And it will continue to be an eventful month and an eventful beginning of next month for I think all of us.
And we want to preface longtime listeners, as you know, we never miss episodes.
No.
We don't do it. We look at the year and we go, hey, we hit 52. We're proud of that.
Yeah.
There might be a couple hiccups in the next couple weeks, but we will do our damnedest and likely not miss. Just it's crazy.
To not vague pod.
Didn't know how much you wanted to say.
Outside of you
nearly dying
twice, going to the hospital because your brain just went, you do too much.
Hey, bro, stop.
The Dragon Wagon Radio is moving. The Dragon's Den is relocating, and so it's not a clean relocation. It's not we're out on one day and we're in on the next.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables and moving pieces. So just bear with us. We definitely have this week. We definitely have next week coming. But that last week in May, first week in June, listen, we're gonna do the best we can for you.
Yeah,
there's definitely gonna be something there.
There'll be something. We're just keeping you posted.
What
that
it is.
Variables are a lot, and between health and moving, those are the two most stressful things in the game.
But it's a lot.
So we're going to kick this off with, have you seen the Boys trailer, the new one?
No, I didn't know there was a new
Boys trailer
for the new season.
Yeah, I know your life's chaos, but a new trailer, new season.
That's exciting.
Hashtag new life, new me.
Did you got a little glimpse at Soldier
Boy? Got a little Soldier Boy, both beard and unbearded. Got some violence, got some excitement.
Got both Soldier Boys.
Got both Soldier Boys. That's what
Soldier Boy and Soldier Slightly Manly.
Soldier Man. We talked about how there is two Soldier Boys. I'm very curious the amalgamation, because I can't imagine them having another Soldier Boy come in later. Right. I do feel like it's an amalgamation of both characters.
Yeah, like they've done with a lot of the other characters, they're adapting them and changing them for the time.
Right, and for the context
story.
of, exactly. Yeah. It is the first, we do get to see the great Butcher taking, basically he's got powers. We don't know if we're going to call it what they call it in the comic books,
right?
But we do get to see Butcher with powers, which is dope, and it looks like Huey is his boss, which is fun.
Interesting.
Like the FBI.
They're right. Yeah. So the thing that I'm so fascinated about, and a part of me really hopes that The Boys doesn't go like the way of The Walking Dead, where I hope it doesn't go on too long.
Yeah.
Only because
I could take on 5 seasons clean.
I just feel like we were talking about this when we learned that Y was canceled, and how they said, "Oh, we have the plan." They already know. It's not like everything is up in the air question mark. And I feel like The Boys is one of my personal favorite endings of any comic book.
I do think it's very, we had the powers in season 1 of book 1.
Right.
Whereas the show, just getting to it season 4.
Right.
I do feel like they can go this at least 5, maybe 6.
I guess what I'm getting at,
but I think they should end it the way they ended the books.
Right. What I'm getting at it though is that I don't think we're going to go that way exactly, because everything is already so different.
Yeah.
But I think
something like that
everything else on the show, there's going to be a little flavor of it.
Yeah.
They're just there's a little flavor.
We want you to know we read the books.
Right,
they're just hey, you fans.
Right. Yeah.
It looks great as ever. When is The Boys not exciting? It drops in June. So while we're in chaos.
I still haven't watched Diabolical yet. It's been on the list, but there's a billion things to watch.
I have not either.
Yeah.
In this moment, I just realized it was on TV. Yes,
I want to watch that before the second season comes out.
Yeah. I'm wondering how that.
Because they're all the same. They're all extended. They're literally doing this is The Boys universe and this is canon. Even though it's cartoon, this is
just
this
like the spinoff show is going to be canon as well, like the college stuff.
Yep. So
man, there's so much to watch.
yeah,
Just acknowledging it. So check out the trailer. The show drops. We're going to be talking about it probably like we do with all the shows, where it's the beginning. We get a flavor. We talk about it at the end, and then we might talk about favorite stuff throughout.
And Amazon does it weekly, don't they?
Does weekly, yeah. So it'll be like our Marvel coverage, where it's like, oh, this was nice, and then at the end.
Although the question is that going to be one that that I watch weekly, or I just go, yeah, I'll wait till 7 episodes.
I imagine I'll see you binging at the end of 2 months.
But I don't know. It's
The Boys, though. Like, you love The Boys. So you might.
I'm sorry, say again.
I think it's June 3rd.
We might be a little in the middle of shit right now.
I mean, you might literally wait because
we might not
life.
have to, but we'll see.
June 3rd. Okay, I was right.
Right.
And it's season 3, June 3rd, not season 4. I just, I have no sense of time.
Because we watched what was available so abruptly.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, 3 seasons. That sounded right. I didn't even correct it. I was like, it seems like that. How much
also, like Diabolical, maybe I was thinking like because we have talked about a third thing.
Right.
That said, we also have a potential 6th installment of a franchise you and I both love dearly. Can you guess what it is?
A 6th installment of a franchise that we both love, which there's like 4.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
You should be able to narrow this down.
Oh, I know what it is. And I'm already like,
yep, and I see your concern.
I am so sad. I'm going to report news for the first time on the show.
Here you go.
Pirates of the Caribbean likely coming back with Margot Robbie as its star.
I just want to give credit to Jake's announcer voice. I just want to give his news voice some love.
With everything happening in like the with the trial of Johnny Depp versus, I'm sorry, I forgot Zack Snyder. Johnny Depp v Amber Heard. Everybody is like, oh, like Johnny Depp's an angel, Amber Heard's a crazy bitch, and I'm like, yeah, I think they're both crazy bitches. I feel
in
this
like
story,
abuse allegations are on both sides.
Right, I think in this story, Amber Heard might have out crazy bitched him.
Sure,
but I think they're both crazy bitches.
As crazy bitches go.
But
in any other scenario, I mean, who knows?
Here's the thing: is throw a rock and there's a crazy bitch.
Now we're not using this term derogatorily. We're including Johnny Depp, but it's not a sexist term in this context.
Dragon Wagon
Radio
I'm a crazy
is
bitch.
Not, yeah, I'm a crazy bitch. We listen to Buck Cherry here in this house.
Case, in that case, you're not a crazy bitch. And that's not what I've read. That like 3 people got that.
That was
3
a joke
people
for the Gen Xers.
3 people got that. In any case, I want Johnny Depp to come back for it. Like I get it. I'm gonna put everything aside. I want Johnny Depp to come back.
He's the heart of it.
Because of what he said, like, he's
got an ending,
a goodbye, like just give us a goodbye, because I don't hate that fifth movie like everybody else does, but it still felt lacking.
And I don't think a 6th movie will feel any less lacking.
No, I think
especially with his current.
But if he's just not in it at all, and it's just Pirates of the Caribbean with Margot Robbie
who I love, but she can't be every franchise.
Yeah. Also,
she's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
I don't put her in the same category that I put Johnny Depp. I almost wish that they had somebody more eccentric. If they're going for the same kind of character, if they're going for,
I think she'd be like Elizabeth Swann.
Exactly.
Type.
If she's supposed to be like Elizabeth Swann, then I think she's great.
Sure,
she's perfect for that. But if we're going for the Jack Sparrow,
you need the pirate.
I think what they're doing is they're going, oh, we're just going to do what
a lady pirate.
We're just going to do what she did in Harley Quinn. Crazy, psychotic, chaotic.
You're probably right. I didn't even think of that.
See, and I'm thinking like, no. It's not about the chaos. It's about the eccentricity.
Yeah, there's way more than just the loud.
Yeah, I almost would prefer like a young, weird, unknown. You know what I mean? Like who just has like a odd way of doing shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
a Ben Foster type.
Sure,
like an intense crazy. That more so than Harley.
What would I don't know how her name is pronounced. Is it Ziwe? What would Ziwe do with this role? Ziwe? Is that her? Like what would she do with it?
I mean, these are the questions.
You mean like I want like a fucking weird
Lakeith Stanfield, dude? Lakeith Stanfield would be crazy.
Yeah, he's also got that
great
weird
pirate.
Is a little bit old now, but Most Def would have been really fun.
Most Def would be incredible.
That sort of weirdness. Yeah, I want that sort of weirdness.
Like an authentic weirdness. Like the person is weird and they happen to be filmed.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, you happen to be putting a camera at a weird person, and here we go. Like we actually talked about this like a year ago, like actors that can't be replaced because of like their eccentricity. Like we had a whole thing about it on a Patreon pod. I think.
Yeah, I remember.
And I think like Johnny Depp was one of our few.
Yeah, there's just certain people who have nobody will ever say a line the way that Christopher Walken says a line. Like
that
the same line.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, nobody. Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, like Sam Rockwell is a pirate. I would watch.
Yeah, that's had to have happened. I had another person and they just jumped out of my mind. John Malkovich.
Yes.
Like these are people who they are themselves part of every character because there's nobody else like them.
Exactly. We like them.
People who people do impressions of.
Exactly.
There's a reason.
Yeah. Give me any of those. No disrespect to Margot Robbie. Hopefully she's an Elizabeth Swann type. We also had this week, because summer is here, mega TV cancellations. Between the Discovery merger and all the stuff going on with streamers, it is a bloodbath of TV out there. So I'm just gonna.
I hate the television industry right now. Let shows find their footing.
Yeah. But money, everyone's looking at the bottom line.
Everybody wants the next Office and the next Lost.
But The Office didn't start as The Office.
No.
Neither did Parks and Rec.
Tanked for 3 seasons.
Parks and Rec took a bit.
Yeah. I'm so pissed that they canceled Mr. Mayor. I fucking love that show.
Yeah.
There's so many great comedies. I'm sorry. I interrupted. You're about to go read a list, and I got hot at it.
I saw. That's good. That means you care. Over on ABC, we lost Promised Land and Queens. On CBS, we lost Magnum P.I., which is surprising because that was 4 seasons deep and decently rated. I haven't seen it, but
I think it was that procedural type that they go, this is a cutting room floor
we've had
show.
enough of this.
Yeah.
Good Sam, which is a hospital set drama with Jason Isaacs and Sophia Bush.
In fairness, don't even know what that is.
Just describing it for the first time.
Right.
Here I am.
Good Samaritan is what I'm assuming it stands for. It's not about a guy named Sam who's good.
I think Sam's
the
nice.
way that you read it. You like Good Sam?
It's called Good Sam.
About Samuel Jones.
It's about Samuel L. Jackson starring Jason Isaacs, who is a big fan of Sammy J. They also got rid of Be Positive, United States of Al, and How We Roll. 2 things I have never heard of. But the last 2 were helmed by Chuck Lorre, the 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory dude who messed up nerd culture, perhaps irreparably. We also lost a show called Bull. And then the big superhero stuff is on the CW. We lost Naomi after her very first season. The comic I loved. I admittedly did not dig the show. So read the comic. It is actually an incredible 6-issue miniseries that turned into another 6-issue miniseries. Season 2 is dropping right now. Now the comic is called Season 2. I know that's confusing because we're talking about TV. It is even more confusing when the show was called Season 1 and the first run of the comic was called Season 1. Either way, pick up the comic book. Also got rid of Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow, we talked about a few weeks ago because I was just happy for that cast to be able to go crazy for 7 years. They had a great run, in my opinion. But CW also got rid of Charmed, Dynasty, Roswell, New Mexico, and the 4400, as well as Legacies and In the Dark. So the CW is like a new network now. Like that's a lot of TV.
Also, in the corrections department, the last episode or 2 episodes ago, when we were talking about them canceling Batwoman, and I was talking about how I was in a show with her, we were trying to come up with her name, and we swapped the letters of the start, and her name is Javica or Javicia.
Yeah.
Leslie, and we said Lavica, something with a J. We switched the J and the
funny.
L. So apologies.
Because we did it off memory.
To everybody who was like screaming at us.
Just yelling.
I still don't know how to pronounce her first name, and I've met her. But anyways, I do like that there is a huge campaign.
Yeah.
There's billboards.
Yeah.
Billboards that say Save Batwoman.
I mean, hey.
That's pretty cool.
This is their Snyder cut, and it seems less problematic.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, just like, read the room, WB.
I mean, yeah.
Like, the one like really huge black-led show with like this everything about it. I know that's
Naomi.
I know that,
and it's 2 of the black-led shows.
Come on, what are you doing?
The CW is known for. I'm not even gonna finish that sentence.
Pretty white people
pivoting our kind of people, and the Big Leap.
That's what the C stands
March.
for. It stands for Caucasian. CW stood for Caucasian Wonder for at least 25 years.
I mean, after you got rid of the WB, you pivoted to It was the WB before.
Didn't UPN wasn't there?
Combined. WB, UPN, that's why the CW came from.
Got it.
So yeah, that was that era. And then over at NBC, The Endgame, Keenan, and Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Those are gone.
Keenan, I understand.
But like what a blood, like that's a lot of TV shows. I just read like 30 shows. That is insane.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah, it is. Over in the world of movies, Doctor Strange, you heard our thoughts. We were not shy. That being said, I think the box office conversation around Doctor Strange is preposterous. The movie is, it did huge numbers weekend 1. That is inevitably going to lead to a major drop weekend 2. What happened was people were comparing Friday to Friday numbers, which are always a huge drop because you don't go, I'm going to see it the second Friday. If you don't see it the opening weekend, you're going to see it the next weekend, generally. Friday night is the diehards. The next Friday is people that happen to be free Friday. So people were reporting it dropped 83%. No, it dropped Friday to Friday 83%. It dropped 61 or something percent weekend 1 to weekend 2, which is fairly normal. It's not like
I mean,
great.
I think it was less than what
Spider-Man
No Way Home did, which people are like, oh, it's the worst thing, everybody. And it's like,
that movie made $1.6 billion.
Here's the thing is like, in my opinion, and I know this is a large part of what you do for a living, and so I apologize for crapping over everything that makes you who you are.
I mean, hey, it's just me.
Having conversations about how box office reflects literally anything is just fucking absurd anymore.
See, I don't usually focus on box office because I do think it's so arbitrary.
Right.
But that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah,
I'm bringing it up that it is arbitrary.
Yeah, it's so absurd because there are a billion. We do not live in 1983 anymore.
Right. And
like,
we're looking at it like we do.
The world is so vastly different. The amount of screens is changed drastically for every type of movie.
The range of ticket prices.
Yeah.
Like you go to the Midwest, it's half the price of here.
And also we have entire theaters here that when a movie like Doctor Strange comes out, stops showing other movies.
It's in 10 houses.
They only show it. Exactly. Like we live in a different era. Listen, when the studio wants to make bank, they're gonna make bank.
Yeah.
They have figured out their formula. Especially for major franchises. They are too big to fail.
It's approaching $700 million.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's doing just fine. It'll probably hit the billion. It might go just shy and hit 9. But either way, it did not cost $400 million. It cost $200 million.
Listen, the both Benedict and Elizabeth earned their gestures.
Doing just fine.
They earned all that money doing all that overacting through gestures.
And both Benedicts
miserably.
are doing just fine. Wong and Cumberbatch.
Oh, right. Holy crap. Totally random.
Yes.
Alexandra has never seen the IT Crowd. I'm going to assume you never have either. Because you're not a big British television fan like me.
But I'm getting there. Afterlife's helping.
I think I brought this up on the pod a couple of weeks back or whatever. But apparently I didn't realize that there was a 1-episode 5th season of the show.
You told me that.
Yeah. And so like there is a finale that I never saw.
Which you got the gift of, which is amazing.
I love the show so much. It is such a perfect little... The IT Crowd is what Big Bang Theory was desperate to be.
Okay.
Like it's the real version of that.
Yeah.
And it's also funny.
It's desperate to be funny.
But so when I saw that, I was like, oh, I wonder Rochester and Alexandra really has grown to love Richard Ayoade. I've been showing her and him in lots of other things, and so she's like, I'll watch it with you. So we watched it. There's one episode of the IT Crowd in which Benedict Wong shows up, and then moments later they go to a club and Gemma Chan walks up and is like a small one-liner.
That's amazing.
And I was like, how many Marvel superheroes are going to be in this, guys?
What is this finale?
That was just a random episode.
That
was like a season 3 or season 4 episode, but I just thought it was so weird. I was like, hey, shit. And then I was like, oh, crap.
Wong and Cersei walk into a bar.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very, very, very fun.
Over in the world of positive box office, while Jake makes fun of me for looking at box office, but this is a very good and important box office note. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is on track to be A24's highest grosser of all time. And it only dropped another 6%, which is staggering.
Also, we mentioned him on the show already, so let's bring him back.
Who's he got?
Sam Rockwell literally goes on late night with Seth Meyers to promote a play he's in.
Okay.
And the first thing he says is, "Oh yeah, I went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. God, this might be the best movie ever." He literally just
promotes everything.
Just promotes the movie.
It makes me so happy.
And then they're like, and then what else is going on? But it's like unprompted. It's like, yeah, I went to go see a movie, and I was burned out, and I went, and it was just, and also, by the way, crickets in the audience. People don't know this movie exists.
That's insane.
Usually that happens,
we're in a bubble,
and people clap, and they go like, "Oh yeah, we saw the thing," because they want to be a part of it.
We're connecting.
Absolute crickets.
Wow.
He just
that's helped more than you'd think.
He just made up a movie title.
Just said words. Wow. Okay, now I have to watch that to support Sam and the film further. But yeah, only a 6% drop, highest grossing A24. I'm very, very hopeful. We're going to talk about some of Jake's favorite filmmakers right now.
Who are we talking about?
Zack Snyder.
Oh boy. boy. What's he up to, my boy?
Zack Snyder, his Oscar wins are likely the result of a hack.
Is there a role in his next movie for me?
You're gonna be the undead ghost of Jimmy Olsen, because he shot him in the face. Zack Snyder's Oscar wins.
He's already dead.
The call's coming from inside the house. Those Oscar wins we talked about probably being false,
getting revoked.
They're proving that they were a hack, and it's not fun to me because we said that as mostly in jest, but like the
welcome to the internet. Have a look around.
I've actually been re-listening to that this week. That's really funny time.
Oh God.
And then Ezra Miller, the rumors going around that he is likely to be recast seem to be just rumors, but man, that guy hates Hawaii. That guy's just violent, just punching
Ezra
Hawaii.
Miller?
Yeah, he's just out there punching people in Hawaii.
They,
I apologize. Truly, I apologize. They are out there punching everyone in Hawaii.
It's tough.
It's
when you've
really
been saying
hard.
it for so long. I'm not taking anything away from the experience.
And I'm also not saying
autopilot
it incorrectly because of me being upset that they are violent. It's me just, I apologize.
Mental
audience.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, I watched one of my new favorite movies, Perks of Being a Wallflower.
So good.
And I really wish that it would have been around when I was in high school because I feel like it would have helped me quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite a film.
And man, you know what?
They're incredible. Now.
Outside of the awfulness,
sure,
that's another Johnny Depp type.
Oh,
there's, you know
yes.
what I mean? The eccentricity.
They could be a pirate, but I wouldn't trust them not to steal a ship.
I mean, Timothy Olyphant's already taking Johnny Depp's role as.
How about Timmy Chalamet
just does
plays
all
every Johnny Depp, and he does young Jack Sparrow for Pirate 6.
Oh, boy.
We're doing prequels, folks.
You know, I shot a young Jack Sparrow fan film.
Did you?
Yeah. It was really fun, too.
I need to do a Jack Sparrow run for TikTok for a friend of mine.
Go to YouTube and look up The Adventures of Young Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
And you'll see a thing that we made.
You heard it here first, folks.
In conjunction with I think they're still a company, Loot Crate.
Oh, yeah.
Back when we used to do their...
I remember having Loot Crate sponsorships sometimes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, remember those?
Did they ever pay you?
I think they gave me a Loot Crate.
That's how they do it.
And that's how you Loot Crate.
Take our garbage.
And that is why we don't know if they're a company right now.
Anyways,
Loot Crate. In the world of positive and successful chaos and throwing a lot of things in a box and seeing what works, Chip and Dale is getting great reviews.
I watched the trailer for this.
It is so fun.
A couple of days ago.
First time?
Yes.
Okay.
And Alexandra, I literally was like, you've got to, I stopped it halfway. I was like, you've got to watch this with me. I'm so incredibly thankful that at some point, some genius, I'm trying to think, Chip and Dale's is Warner?
It's Disney.
Disney. Oh yeah, right. Duh, obviously.
Yeah.
Chip and Dale's, yeah. Okay, so some brilliant dude at Disney went, hey, do you know how we keep trying to take IPs from 30 years ago and make them for kids, but they're not
kids
good?
Or adults
and
now?
Kids, or no, just saying like make them for kids, but the kids don't care.
Right.
How about we take those IPs and we make a movie for the people who liked them when they were kids?
Yes.
Because that's what this seems like.
Yes.
I love it so much.
It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Exactly.
Again. But 2022.
It looks so fun to me.
Not getting a theatrical release. Straight to Disney Plus.
Fuck those assholes.
I'm so mad. Just like all the Pixar stuff getting...
I'm sorry, Disney. I didn't mean to say fuck those assholes. Please hire me. I'm available for more voiceover work. I would love to come back.
He's Agent Coulson, everybody.
Coulson.
Come on, let him play.
I would also love to audition for any live action television shows you have in the works. Also, if you plan on doing another Parent Trap, call me. I'll be the dad.
He's ready. He's available. He's also got a great Billy Crystal City Slickers 3 pitch.
They don't own that.
Do they not?
No, I think that's Paramount, maybe?
I just assume.
No, I don't think
Disney owns things.
I don't think they own that.
That said, with the Pixar going straight to Disney Plus and now this, I'm a little upset. So I am going to the premiere on Wednesday, which is I'm going to be one of the only people I ever see in the theater. So I'm excited.
Going this Wednesday?
This Wednesday.
How come you never invite me to premieres, Coy?
Because you don't go out to things.
To fucking Chippendale, I would.
If I got a +1, I'll text you. Are you free Wednesday?
It depends on what time.
5:30.
I might be free Wednesday to go see Chippendales.
Okay, I'll see what I can do tomorrow.
I don't know. It might be a big ask. I'm helping a friend move. Everybody's moving.
Everybody's moving, everybody. Well, I mean, there's a lot of world out there. That said, I'll report back next week or in 2 weeks for you folks on how Chippendale is, and then we will have both seen it because it drops on Disney Plus on the 20th.
Yeah, that'll be an instant
That's
watch.
a must watch. Yeah, very excited.
It looks so fun.
So good. Every bit of it. And like Seth Rogen, as we talk about most weeks, I'm just always excited to see him in things.
Right.
On the other side of streaming, Netflix is going to be hosting a Geeked Week, which doesn't seem like a desperate attempt to find their audience at all. They are potentially adding live streaming and video games. I don't know what this platform is, But they're considering adding live streams and video games directly for the same cost of way too much money.
When they say video games, do they mean they're like weird like quiz game that they already have?
I think it's going to be actual online games.
You can use a controller. Well, because that's what the quiz game is. Like they already have games on there.
They said video games, adding video games.
Does that mean like the same way that like PlayStation now works, where you can just stream a popular title?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. Maybe they'll do like Frogger and shit.
They're just going to do just old
lots
classic
of
arcade
Tetris.
games.
Hope you like.
I don't know. I'm all for a company trying to expand and grow and evolve, but this seems pandery.
That my concern is like there is a lot of really quality geek content on Netflix, truly, like Umbrella Academy and like things. But to have a thing that feels like it's trying to shove all that into 1 week and to be like, hello, fellow kids. My concern is that they aren't hiring voice. It's the Big Bang Theory versus Community Theory.
Right.
Like I think they need to hire people that are actually geeks to talk about stuff instead of people that are geeks because they wear glasses and bow ties. And this feels like a week of bow ties.
Yes.
And I love you, Netflix. This feels like bow ties.
I feel like Netflix they have two markets that they're trying to advertise well, but you know, unfortunately the culture wars that we're living in make it difficult, and that is comedy. Like it sucks because they don't fucking pay comedians enough.
Right.
But
Netflix's joke is a very good platform.
And they are consistently the place to go for a new comedy special for a lot of comics.
Yeah. They're the HBO of the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
But just as problematic as HBO in the 80s and 90s.
The other side is genre shit. If they would just lean in to being like, hey, everything you loved about the Sci-Fi Network, except there's money involved.
Yes. Yes.
Like
because The Witcher, Stranger Things, which is all geeked, which is exactly what they're saying.
Exactly.
They're just saying it wrong.
Yes.
What we're saying is we like what you're doing. The phraseology is wrong.
I mean, this is the same people, like you said, Umbrella Academy. What was the other a big release? Not I almost want to say Eternals. What are they called? Oh shit! It's the graphic novel series.
Oh, the Mark Miller one.
Yes,
did not do well. Jupiter,
I know, but yes, Jupiter Ascending.
Yes.
They have, like you said, Witcher. They have
Jupiter's Legacy.
Legacy. There it is.
Jupiter Ascending is Wachowski's movie.
But they also have like a lot of sci-fi movies that aren't series that they like lean into,
and they have all Millar's content. They like Millar has his own thing over there, so there's gonna be more.
Yeah,
sorry, it's Miller. But
lean into that.
Like
lean into that.
Right, but I just think that the phraseology is tricky. Hire the right hosts. I don't know what you guys are planning. I'm available. But that said, I do think that they really need to adjust their branding strategy for this content, because some of the content's great. Some of it feels like content. Some of it feels like art. And that's something Jake and I talk about all the time. Like the way you promote it sometimes is the difference between art and content. And that's really important with a streamer. Speaking of beautiful things on Netflix that are genre and awesome, that are very successful, Black Mirror Season 6 is finally in development over at Netflix, a show that feels more and more prophetic every season. At this point, I'm watching it just to find out what the next 10 years are going to be like. And then we got our last bit of geek news. David Tennant and Catherine Tate are set to return to Doctor Who for the 60th anniversary.
This is, to me, I talk about this a lot over on Palskis because it's a pro wrestling problem. I talk about this with modern day Marvel things. Shut your mouths. We didn't need to know this. This would have been such a better experience
if it just happened.
But now that we know, I'm irritated at you because you ruined it. Like I talk about this with wrestling all the time. Whenever like someone's planning to make a comeback, every now and then they go like, hey, this person returns at this pay-per-view. And I was like, well, you also could have just let the music hit and we all would have went ape shit.
Yeah. What's that called? A pop?
Yeah, there you go. You're learning.
Look at me being on a podcast.
They would have got a huge fucking pop out of the crowd. But anyways, I mean, I love it. I'm excited. We're very behind on our Doctor Whoing just because there's a lot of shit to watch. But
the fact that Jake nor I have watched a diabolical series, like that's still registering for me. We're both boys diehards.
One of my favorite comic books of all time. Yeah.
Now, speaking of comic books, I got some recommendations for you, lovelies.
Do you?
Top comics from last week, the week of May 11th. I am up to date, you lovelies. I can tell you exactly what to read. Captain America, Symbol of Truth, #1. We got Sam Wilson as Cap, doing awesome stuff. Brand new #1, great jumping on point. Crossover #13, reaching the peaks of which we haven't seen this comic, in my opinion, have since the first arc. Really enjoyed this book, but it had some lows of late. This issue is back to its strength. Hulk versus Thor, Banner War Alpha, a title so easy to say. It took me a lot of focus just now.
Banner War Alpha.
Hulk versus Thor, Banner War Alpha.
Why Banner War? Why is it because we did World War Hulk?
I assume they're
like,
going the other way.
This is not Hulk War.
It's about him.
Banner War.
Yeah, and it is very banner based, but it is a hard. Think about try to Hulk versus Thor Banner War Alpha. It's like the wrong syllables, the wrong places. It just doesn't flow.
That's a rough one.
So it's not easy to get out there, but it's an intense comic. It's a good time. Kill Lock Artisan Wraith number 3. You guys hear me talk about this book all the time. Love me some stuff from IDW. This is what I've always wanted a Transformers book to be, and it kicks ass. Moon Knight Black and White and Blood number 1. Anthology title. You've never had to pick up a comic book in your life, much less a Moon Knight title. You can have yourself a Moon Knighty good time. If you like the show, pick up this anthology. Naomi Season 2 number 3. Yes, the show is canceled. It will never have a Season 2, but the comic is calling itself Season 2 to confuse you and me. Very good book, very poorly titled. Suicide Squad Get Joker number 3, a Black Label book. I love everything coming out of DC Black Label. This is no exception. Very intense Suicide Squad story. Reminds me a lot of James Gunn stuff, and it's got some Joker flavor. Superman Son of Kal-El number 11. This continues the very good run of Tom Taylor on a brand new take on Superman. It's his son, and his son came out as gay, so all the right people are very, very upset for all the wrong reasons, and it's fun to see them mad, and it's great to support this book, and I highly recommend you do both things because it's a good read, and it pisses the right people off. X-Men number 11 is my final recommendation for last week. It is a decent to great book, but I do feel like this has a lot of potential for where they're going to set up, so it feels like a good jumping on point for where we're going. To pull this week, it has been a really, really small, in fact, the last 3 episodes I've talked about how small the pull lists have been, and I've been concerned. This week, we're back to almost full power. I usually it's like 30 books, sometimes 40 books a week. It had been like 13 where I was like,
Right.
Are comics okay? This one's back to some girth. We got some girth coming at you. For the week of the 18th, tomorrow in your local comic book shop, or today, depending on when you're listening to this, because I realize we dropped this on Wednesday, I recommend Batman 89 number 6, Batman Superman World's Finest number 3, Batman the Night number 5, Catwoman 43, Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter number 2, Elektra Black and White and Blood number 4, Eternals number 12, Fantastic Four 43, House of Slaughter number 6, I Hate This Place number 1, new Image title, Immortal X-Men number 2, Iron Fist number 3, Joe Hill's Reign number 5, concluding that bitchin' miniseries. The Marvels number 10, New Mutants 25, new jumping on point, new arc, Nightwing number 92, Savage Avengers number 1, a brand new take on the Savage Avengers and new jumping on point, Silk number 5, Spider-Punk number 2, Thor 25, big ol' anniversary issue there, A Town Called Terror number 2, Venom Lethal Protector number 2, Wolverine 21, Wolverine Patch number 2, and X-Force 28, as well as X-Men Red number 2. That feels like a pull list. That feels like a week. Get yourself some comic books. We got some time for some hotline calls. Let's see what the people have to say.
We do have some time for some hotline calls. And if you would like to leave a hotline call, all you got to do is call 818-794-0722 or send a voice memo to contact@koicast.com, and you could hear yourself just like this.
Hey Koi, hey producer Jake, this is Gilbert up in the Bay Area. And I had a question about your opinions on superheroes changing in the different mediums. So are there any characters that maybe you liked in the comics but not in the movies, or vice versa, or maybe on TV shows? For me, it was I didn't really care for Captain Marvel that much in the comics. I don't know why. She always just seemed like she's kind of a hard ass and not really three-dimensional character. But I thought that Brie Larson was really charming, and she brought her life very well. Even if Captain Marvel wasn't the best movie, I think I like it more than most. But I thought that Brie Larson was just a very charming actress playing the character, so maybe that's why I like her more. But I was just wondering, maybe you had similar decisions one way or another. So I'd like to hear all about it. Thank you. Bye.
I got a big one because it is a character that not only did I not enjoy in the comics, but because of the portrayal, I've gone back and read the comics, and it's actually enhanced retroactively. And that's Chris Evans, man. I think his Captain America is really special because that is a really hard character to get right. It is so yeehaw patriotism if done wrong.
Yep.
And yet he manages to walk the line between Boy Scout and just endearingly, while not naive, patriot. It's so special.
Right. Yeah, I think Alexandra would agree with you wholeheartedly because she's in love with that character. Like, that character is just like such an important through line for her and her love of the MCU. But I think she was like, I don't think I ever read or would have read. And she's not. I
struggled.
She's a comic reader too. She's not one of those people who's just like would never have any interest in something called Captain America.
And like, it makes me want to believe in the country. Like, it's so good that it does the thing the character's supposed to do.
And I think it's,
whereas like the comics,
the reason is because they use Captain America as a way to discuss what America ideology actually is.
Yeah.
And they've done that in the comics too, but I think it's, like you said, tough sell.
There's a
sell.
connection to Chris Evans that his acting and his ness is so approachable that even though the character's unapproachable, when you combine him and the character, it's an eye line.
Right.
And that's so unique.
Yeah.
So he's a big one for me.
I think right up there with him, which maybe for different reasons, but I never, ever really liked Thor. Never read Thor. I thought it was so stupid to me that there was just Norse mythology in the
Mixed
Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I often didn't like the way it was written. I always loved the art of the books because I'm like a fantasy nerd.
Sure.
So I really loved the fantasy elements to it. And there were a couple characters that I really did enjoy. I mostly enjoyed his band of misfits more than I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
But I just never, and when the movie came out, I passed on it. This is before I understood what the MCU was going to be. Like we all did, you know what I mean? Like I didn't watch that movie until it was on Netflix for free.
Yeah.
You know, after there had already been 2 other movies, right?
Sure.
And I fell in love with the character. I absolutely fell in love with the character because
Hemsworth
of the other
and the
Chris.
writing. Yeah.
Because of the other Chris.
Those Chris's.
That like it's so well adapted for screen in such a way that I love Thor so much in the MCU, and I never liked him in the movies, and it has made me like him more in comics now.
The retroactive liking is so impressive. That's what I think the strength of the MCU is. More recently, I think Eternals. That's a comic book world. Yeah, because I like Kirby's visuals, but I never really identified with the characters. They're so intentionally unapproachable, like not in the way of like Iron Man and those characters, but in the way that it's really dense that you have to really be invested to want to keep investing. I like when comic characters immediately endear me to them, or they do that thing where like in a movie where you kind of like plant a seed of, oh, you're interesting. Oh, this is likable.
Right.
Whereas the Eternals always felt like, if you're not on board, you're not going to find your way on board.
Right.
And the movie made me go like, oh, you did the thing the comics never felt like they did. And you still gave me Kirby visuals. And you gave me little character moments. So I think Eternals is actually a stronger adaptation than even some of the original stuff, as much as I love Kirby.
I understand that completely. I'm going to go the other way.
Uh-oh.
In the year 2000, we were given one of my favorite comic book characters, especially like coming fresh out of the 90s. As a comic kid, I was in the 90s.
Punisher.
You gave us one of the best adaptations in Wolverine, and I went crazy. But the other side of my favorite comic duo, the worst Sabretooth.
Oh,
I mean, like, I love that character so much. I never liked Toad, and I ended up, he was the only one I cared about in that movie as far as like outside of Magneto, obviously, but like in the Brotherhood story.
Yeah.
But like, Sabretooth was so cool, and in that movie, he was so lame.
There's a lot of that direction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So lame. So lame.
And even Live Schreiber, like,
but
he
there's
brought
difference
more.
Though. Here's the thing though, is the reason why you're right, there's a lot in that direction, but mostly it's just because of bad movies, right? Like mostly it's like, oh yeah, this movie wasn't bad. So I'm not counting literally anybody in
Catwoman.
Or I was gonna say anybody in Apocalypse.
Sure.
Because
none of them did that.
Yeah, there were a bunch of good characters that were all bad on the screen. This was a bad movie. But I don't think X-Men 1's a quote bad movie.
No, but that's fair.
That character is just so bad. It's so nothing considering how much fun it was to read.
You know what's fun? That's both?
What?
Blade. I think Blade is good because of how different it is from the comic books.
Right.
And I think that the Blade comic books being so 70s and the Blade movies being so 90s, 2000s are each of their strengths.
But
they're arguably the most, because there's no real continuity of Blade comics.
No,
like they get canceled so much. So I love that the Blade movies feel so separate, but still feel like Blade.
And we talked about this on the Patreon only pod, patreon.com/Koicast. When I watched Blade a couple weeks back, which is like, there's a little bit of that blaxploitation that Wesley adds and brings to it.
That really enhances it.
But I was going to say, that makes it feel like the old Blade comic.
Because the 70s flavor.
Yeah. But
the rest.
But at the same time, it's just Matrix vampires. It's, Yeah.
And the comics got canceled before they ever got arcs like Blade movies.
You're right. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question, Gilbert. And congrats again on being so unpunchable.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. Jacob from Mississippi here. Just in response to Darth Vadad, just challenging you guys to see, and kind of like a mending still way, how would you write a third movie for the early 2005, 2007 Fantastic Four movies to finish it off and make it all better? All right. Love you guys. Have a good one.
I love that you're bringing this direction because it's kind of topical, but also like I don't remember the movies enough. This is gonna be chaos.
So just in case people aren't familiar, last week Darth Vadad challenged you guys to give us multiverses and either see if we remember how they actually ended or just make our own ending. So this one, he's going to make our own ending because it didn't have an ending.
Right.
Well, I mean, it
did, but like the trilogy.
Right.
So I've got a pitch.
Okay.
We've got the first one being Doctor Doom based.
Yep.
We've got the second one being Silver Surfer Galactus based.
I think we're on the exact same page.
So we got a third one. I'm going to go, they have a child.
Oh, okay.
Marvel's first family has a kid.
Okay. It would make sense. There was a wedding in the second one.
There was a wedding.
Progression.
And you need that. And you've got some years maybe between them, right? So they're raising their kids. And you've got the quantum realm, which is actually the negative zone in the comic books. We're gonna use the comic appropriate negative zone here. And you've got Annihilus trying to break out of the negative zone.
All right, we went different directions. I do like Annihilus.
So I got Annihilus as the bad.
I mean, although he would have looked
horrendous,
just like Green Goblin.
He would have been a Power Ranger villain.
He would have.
That's okay.
He would have exactly like Raimi's Green Goblin.
But that's okay because I want it. So Annihilus, and I'm gonna have him voiced by Ben Foster because I love my boy Ben Foster, and I could totally see that intensity coming out of Annihilus.
Would
he be in the suit?
Would he just be bug face robot? Would there be motion? Like, would it be static?
You know what? Let's go Silver Surfer technology. Let's have some movement. Let's have a little bit of movement, but still Ben Foster. But while we're dealing with the negative zone, we've got Sue having the baby, adding a ticking clock to the film.
Right.
So in the second,
she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Oh, okay. So they're not raising their kid.
But that's where this gets crazy.
Okay.
It gets crazy. Everyone goes in except Sue. Except Sue. They go into the negative zone. They get trapped by Annihilus. Sue has the baby alone.
Okay.
Reed, as ever, absent father, always too focused on science. This time, at his control, they get out. Now we got Sue with the baby. Franklin Richards is now 7 years old. Reed has missed the first 7 years of his life and the birth of his child.
This is literally okay. Continue.
But now he's taking out Annihilus. But the problem is, Sue has raised a great young man, but he's developing powers. Now Reed and Johnny and Thing have to realize the family has grown, but also how to try to help this kid navigate his powers, dealing with the guilt of Reed not being able to solve things, visual stuff, like the way he looks. Now he feels extra guilt because not only does he not able to cure Thing, but he also missed his kid and he's not able to help his kid.
Okay.
And then the movie goes into the third act where Franklin is accidentally the villain because his powers are uncontrollable. And you've got the Marvel's first family being the ultimate first family, and that they're fighting inside the family. And they finally solve the problem by him being able to compress a multiverse. And that multiverse they walk out of into the MCU where they meet Johnny Storm.
No, there's no. This would have happened years ago. There's no MCU yet.
But I'm saying it's happening now.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Years have passed.
I'm picking up. What
all this is real happening in real time because that way Franklin's 7 years old.
It's all happening in real time.
And then
would be a very long movie.
Very long movie. But you come out and then Chris Evans' Human Torch meets Chris Evans' Captain America because the multiverse, and then you have the multiverse actually make more sense in the MCU because he's not a Nexus level being, thanks to Franklin Richards, who then works with Kang and shit.
I can't top that. But also, tell me you never saw the Buffy spin-off Angel without telling me you never saw the Buffy spin-off Angel.
Is that the Boreanaz one?
In which Angel has a kid who just vanishes into like another dimension and then just returns and he's a teenager because they didn't want to have like a baby.
See, I was playing with the absentee father, Reed Richards, but it totally works.
I mean,
dude, Franklin Richards being the thing that causes the multiverse that you meet Chris Evans's.
I also love the inclusion of Annihilus because I think that's a step up. I was gonna go with Super Skrull.
Oh, okay, Skrull.
I'm sorry. I always do that. Yes. Super Skrull.
Very visually pleasing.
I mean, literally, like he's got like the Thing arm.
It's very intense.
He's got the, I feel like if you're gonna make the third movie of that generation,
you can make it
it's gotta be the batshit crazy one.
And you've already gone Silver Surfer.
It's gotta be the Venom, Sam Raimi Venom.
Yes.
So I think that makes the most sense for that universe, it to just go batshit crazy. Because also in the second one we had like Doom kind of like being a tweener because of Galactus, and with the Silver Surfer, like being excused or whatever, like he's out there, maybe he comes back and helps or something. I don't know. But I think like we had interdimensional beings, or we had alien beings, right? Introduced in the second one.
Yeah.
The natural progression of there is to be like, well,
further aliens.
There's it's not just the big giant one. There's entire civilizations.
And you have the conflict of like the family having to team up to take on something that's all of them combined.
I will say, no matter what, we definitely need to get the kid. Like you're right. Yeah.
It's dope.
That's
right there. Family.
Especially because of the progression.
Yeah. Evolution.
It's the will they, won't they. First one, second one's marriage.
Third one,
came
Franklin
kids.
Richards. And he's a multiversal being.
Yeah.
Guys, we
did
just
it.
wrote some cinema.
Coy, producer Jake, Travis from Florida. Here's my question for you. What is your favorite Superman movie, and why is it Superman 4 Quest for Peace? I really want to hear what y'all's thoughts are actually on this movie, and why is it your favorite movie, because it's kind of corny, but it's also pretty cool-ish. Yeah. Bye!
Are you ready for a full honesty reveal that I don't think anyone knows?
Now I think they all know.
I've never seen Superman 4, A Quest for Peace.
And you call yourself a comic book pundit.
A pundit? Do I call that? What's a pundit?
Isn't that what you call it?
Pundit. Like a pundit, like a correspondent.
No, I'm pretty sure there's some extra N's and shit in there.
So, folks, I've never seen Superman 4. I actually, admittedly, don't know that I've seen Superman 2 and 3.
It's absurd.
And I don't think I've seen Superman 1 since middle school. So
this is absurd.
I think what I might do is, like, I love, and this is shameless, but I love watching TikToks of people discovering movies for the first time, especially movies I love, when they're like, they start the beginning and then they do little videos in the middle of like, okay, this just happened. This is awesome. I might do that with Superman because I've never watched it. I don't want to live stream it. I don't want to be like, a spectacle, but I might watch it and occasionally like film little snippets of reaction because this is a staple of superhero culture and I've not experienced it.
It's so bad. It's astoundingly bad. It's such a try-hard movie to comment on society in a way
before I was born.
In a way that's such an epic failure. I mean, it's atrocious. God, you weren't even born yet.
Yeah, I was not born when Superman 4 came out.
Well,
so I missed all
babe.
of the Supermans because I was not yet alive.
So Superman 1 is, to this day, I still think one of the most successful superhero movies of all time. And I get that it's inherently gonna be dated.
Yeah.
But the fact that it works still in 2022 is why it's so good.
Yeah.
Because there's rarely a moment in Superman where you go like, oh, cheesy.
Right.
Like it still fucking works. And it's because it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the thing like I talked recently on the Patreon pod about how I watch a Darkman, and I was like, oh man, visual effects were hard.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like
it doesn't try that.
This has the big special effect on this is mostly like, hey, he flies.
A man can fly.
And it's mostly wire work, which is like sometimes it doesn't look great, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not distracting. And it's also just as a story, it's absolutely beautiful. Superman 2, the Donner cut I love it. I'll defend the Donner cut for days. The other one, not so much. Superman 3, they had a comedy movie written for Richard Pryor, and then they were like, well, we're not going to make that one. Why don't we just combine that script into a Superman script? I don't know why Superman's even in it.
Sense.
You haven't seen that one either, but I don't even know why Superman's in it. It's a comedy for Richard Pryor that also Superman is kind of there for.
That's such a weird thing. That'd be like if they had a Jim Carrey vehicle and they're like, well, it's Plastic Man.
Also, like,
Actually,
do you even know, like, do you even understand the glory that is Nuclear Man? Like, because they turned him into a comic book character after the movie. Have you seen Nuclear Man?
I know of Nuclear Man.
Have you seen the photos of him, what it looks like in the movie?
I'm so removed from this.
Can I give you my one sentence review of Superman 4 Quest for Peace on Letterboxd?
Please.
It is 1 star. They didn't even utilize what was clearly Nuclear Man's most powerful ability. The dude gives totally killer back scratches. Because he's just got like long fingernails for some reason.
I'm going to take this journey when I have some time. I'm going to watch all 4 of them.
Let's see.
They got to be on HBO Max.
According to this, I watched this as recently as September 25th, 2021. So the last time I watched this was less than a year ago. I will rewatch all of these again just because.
They're all on HBO Max.
Yes.
So, I mean, Warner Brothers.
Oh, wait. Is the Donner cut there as well?
I don't know if that's on Letterboxd. Let me look.
It's not, and it's very frustrating.
Okay, yeah. Oh, wait.
In fact,
Superman 2, the Donner cut is on Letterboxd now.
Oh, is it?
They added it.
Oh, shit's in the night. Does that mean I have to fix my
no,
logging?
You logged it. 4 stars.
Oh, okay. All right. So then
You're
they
good.
did do it. I might be confusing this with a different. Oh, Blade Runner recently.
So yeah, I this is not on HBO Max. So after I watch Superman 1 and 2, I'll borrow your.
I have a Blu-ray.
I'll borrow your Blu-ray
with a documentary about the making of.
Because that'll be my next double feature.
That's so good.
So basically, I need to watch 5 films.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch 6 films. I need to watch 1, 2, 2 plus, 2 plus making of, 3 and 4.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Superman Returns with Brendan
Routh. I've seen that one, but I haven't seen it since.
You're gonna have to rewatch it because it's so good.
And I haven't seen it since understanding the context of it.
You know what? Superman Returns better than Man of Steel.
I'm excited to have that conversation. I mean, I don't have the context. Well, you lovelies, that is going to be it for this week. Hopefully that answers your quest for peace, knowledge, and I didn't at all because I haven't even seen it. But we're going to get to it. Excited for next week's hot and hotline heavy episode. Thank you all to the new patrons of KoiCast. We appreciate you very, very much. It shows that what we do here has some listeners, and you guys' support means the world because we're here for many hours. So we appreciate it very much.
And in just 2 weeks' time, not next week, but the following week, we will be selecting our June Unpunchable Gift Horse. But in the meantime,
get in there.
Gilbert Short remains the current Unpunchable Gift Horse in all his glory. So praise be to Gilbert Short. By the way, if you're in the Discord, the Dragon Bag Radio Discord, and you're the Unpunchable Gift Horse, you get a little roll. Your name shows up in blue, and you're a little special. If you're in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, or if you're in there and I don't know who you are when we pick your name, then you're just gonna have to tell me, hey, I'm in the Discord.
Can't punch this.
But oh no.
Yep.
Did you just
set
do
it up,
can't
and
touch
then
this?
I even did a little song. I did a little setup there. And I was waiting for that pause that I knew was coming.
that I loved that.
Right? I even gave it some time to breathe.
I hate it.
Yep, that was for us. All right, so please do rate and review at Apple Podcasts. Those 5 stars keep us warm at night. Those 4 stars with constructive criticism help me know what to do. And those stars that are lower than that just wound us. Just mortally wound us. But check out koicast.com for merch as well as the Patreon. If you guys want to see, we got all sorts of tiers, all sorts of goodness over there coming at you. We got mugs, we got masks, we got all sorts of stuff as well as t-shirts. So please do check out those things and follow us on social media. I'm at Koidrondro. He's at Jake Lloyd Bacon. And if you used hashtag KoiCast to get our attention, we tend to find those easier. You can also call us at 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722 to leave your own hotline call that we will check and enjoy you as co-hosting with. We love your questions. They mean the world. And you can also send a voice memo to contact@koicast.com if you're overseas or don't have a phone or whatever. I don't know how you're leaving the voice. I don't know if you've got like some sort of.
Although you're missing out because that outgoing voice message.
We're pretty proud of it.
It's pretty. People tend to really enjoy that.
Yeah, the laughs leading into the question are part of the highlight for me. Just the journey of you guys enjoying our dumb shit is kind of what this show's all about. All right, that's going to do it for this week. We will see you next week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing.
Hey, Jake here, and I am sitting down with one Steven Sable. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Jake.
You are a stage actor and director and producer.
I am.
And you specialize in Shakespeare plays.
I do. I'm a classical theater artist by trade, and Shakespeare is definitely one of my loves.
Which brings me to the fact that you are also a host of a podcast right here on Dragon Bag Radio called Don't Quill the Messenger. What is Don't Quill the Messenger about?
What the podcast is about is getting to the truth of Shakespeare authorship.
What do you mean the truth of Shakespeare authorship?
Well, for hundreds of years, people have believed that the name William Shakespeare is a pseudonym and that there's a true identity of a real author hidden behind that name.
Interesting, much like a Mark Twain.
Very much. And what we try to do on Don't Quill the Messenger is find out who Samuel Clemens really is.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. How do people listen?
At don'tquillthemessengerpodcast.com or wherever podcasts are found.
Sounds fantastic.
Dragon Wagon.